Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. If we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, doing real good. How about yourself?
I am just happy for this week to be over.
Well, that is always a growing trend. The reason I'm so happy is celebrating 10 years of marriage today. So that is something happy. Got to go to the movies, one of the celebration gifts, which we'll get to here in a couple minutes. But glad to be here. I'm also I feel like Robert Patrick and the Faculty when they're like, the coach looks thirsty, because I'm going to be drinking a lot of water. I'm thirsty tonight.
Yeah, I'm drinking some coffee. Long day, but I'm very, very happy for you and your wonderful wife to be celebrating 10 years. That's a very, very big accomplishment. That's a decade, man.
It is. It is. And our very first movie that we went to go see together was a Harrison Ford movie called Morning Glory. It's like he's like works for a newspaper or something, and we've seen a lot of movies in between since then. And movies is definitely something that we love and enjoy.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Spags. Thank you.
One of our guys, Lucky Spags, checking in. With that tone, though, we have a pretty nice packed show for today. We decided to go with some who's scarier in terms of horror villains. You notice I noticed when I do the 31 Days of Horror, it sounds like I'm saying whore when I say horror. So I repeatedly like re-record it, and I'm like, I can't say it, but I guess it's my Chicago accent that makes it go hoa. But we have some horror villains that we're going to go through. We have 8 matchups with some clips coming in and some good stuff. So we're going to have some good Halloween fun this week.
I'm excited.
As am I, my friend, as am I. But with that tone, let's get straight into what we've been watching this week.
That's a me! And also, what were you just watching?
Oh, there we go. What were you watching this week, Tone?
2 movies I've watched this week. First up is Christine, a movie that is long and dear to my heart. A very, very important movie to me. I watched this movie like in 8th grade, and I fell in love with its ridiculousness, to be honest with you. It is straight up ridiculous, and John Carpenter directing it. The music is definitely John Carpenter. This week, to ease some of those weak tensions that you speak about, me and Katie sat and watched this, and there's some great ridiculous one-liners in this movie, to the point where yesterday I went to a trunk or treat, and there was a gentleman with an older car that kind of looked like Christine. It was blue, and I walked by and I made a comment just to see if this guy, what he would say, and I said, just like Christine. And the guy turned to me and he goes, "This is my Christine." And I laughed and I said to myself, he knows who Christine is. And the movie's very cool. Got a cool soundtrack for the time. I like the way the songs kind of speak to how the car is feeling. I like the acting job by a lot of people in this movie that do a really good job. I was doing some research and I found out that Kevin Bacon was actually up for the part of Artie in this movie. But he chose to go with Footloose instead. I really wish he would have went with Christine, but Footloose definitely made his career. What's your feelings on Christine, the Stephen King classic?
Love it. Love the book.
Book's
Also
great.
love the film.
Book's great.
Yeah, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he is the king of horror, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Really, really good film. You got also the guy from Pretty in Pink in there too. Harry Dean Stanton's in that film.
Oh, he's great in that movie.
Yeah,
There's a great line that I keep repeating to Katie where he goes, they had to pick him up with a shovel. And he's like, isn't that what you do with a piece of shit? You pick it up, you scrape it up with a little shovel. Just some great one-liners that are ridiculous. I love the guy who runs Darnell's Garage from, I think his name is Robert Propst. He's like in Mrs. Doubtfire. He's in some other stuff. He's like, you can't run that mechanical asshole. Yeah, just a cool cast, and it's actually just a cool 80s movie, and not scary per se, but fun horror.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the best thing to do. That the fun horror sometimes is good over the scary horror sometimes, and Christine definitely falls into that.
Mm-hmm. And well, first of all, I want to just say your lovely voice, which you could hear on the 31 Days of Horror that you're putting out. Black Phone, you did the video last year. I'm trying to pick a movie today, and I'm trying to say, okay, Katie, we're gonna go see a movie. She wants to see a movie. We haven't been in movies in a long time. So she goes, I go, well, let's watch. I said, I'll show you Yumper's Black Phone little video, and it sold her on going to see the movie tonight, Black Phone 2. And I'll be honest with you, I liked Black Phone, but I wouldn't say I necessarily loved it. Watching your video, though, makes me, which is funny now, because even with Christine, I hear your voice a lot since watching your videos. It's pretty great. I'll be watching a movie and I could hear like you saying some awesome stuff in the background while I'm reading it online. Like I'm reading something about the movie, but I hear your voice. It's pretty cool. So check out his videos. They're amazing. But back to Black Phone 2. So when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was actually pretty excited because I thought it looked pretty scary and cool in a way that maybe I didn't see in the first one, or maybe I didn't just notice myself. So after watching your video, we went and seen it. And let me just tell you, I had a great time at the movies seeing this movie. And I can't tell you not to run quick enough to the show to go see it, especially being a fan of the first one. This movie it takes place in like 82. So there's just a really cool 1980s vibe going on in this movie. The characters, same characters as the first movie. So you get to see them a little bit older. And having not seen the first one in a long time before going to see this today, I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch it. But they grew up and they act really well. Our boy, Damian Bashir, shows up in this film. He does a great job. Great job. You'll laugh. I could tell you right away. Because it's a something I saw, like a comparison was like Dream Warriors was a good comparison, or the first Friday the 13th, because it takes place in a camp. But Ethan Hawke is incredible. Direction by Scott Derrickson. Great. So I definitely know you'll definitely be checking this out if you didn't sneak out and see it and didn't tell me already.
No, I have not snuck out and saw it. To be honest with you, I was a little worried going to see this film because the first one ended in such a way, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. That I'm like, how are they going to do a second one? I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm like, is this kind of like a money grab? And I'm like, I didn't put too much faith in it, but now that you're saying,
and I wasn't, honestly, I could even be a little bit harsher on the first movie. I was not really a fan of the first movie. I thought it was a little, but now we've talked about this, and someone left a review on our thing that still eats at me when he said that I can't like a movie after seeing it 3 or 4 times because it's bad, or I thinking it's bad. And I thought.
Well, he thought, and he got frozen. See, that guy came back and got him. But in terms of Black Phone, like I was saying, I think it's a film that, to me, just touched with me in terms of the way it gave me that 70s vibe, that kids vibe. I thought it was a career resurgence for Ethan Hawke in coming back. He was in Sinister. I loved him in Sinister. Black Phone is from the same director. and he plays a freak in the film, and I thought he did a very, very good job. So when this second one came out, I was a little worried about it. And Tony, as he was saying, is very, very happy of the outcome of it. Continue, Tone, if you're there.
Am I there? Hello? Can you see
Yes,
me?
you are back. You're back.
Oh,
sir.
I'm back. So what I was saying is that you're absolutely right. I mean, most of these movies are a cash grab in a way where you're not really sure of what are we going to get here in this movie? Is this going to be a good movie? Is this going to be not? But actually, just this week also, I watched The Dream Warriors, and this is one thing I do that I don't know a lot of people are against. I read a lot of reviews.
Mhm.
So and not just reviews like movie critics. I go to like people who actually went and seen it like last night or today. And it was more of like this is such a different movie than the first movie, which is a fresh thing to hear. A lot of people said what you said, not expecting much, walked out enjoying it. There is a couple scenes that I think are some of the coolest horror scenes I've seen in a long time. I think it's just a good movie, but I agree with you a lot of not expecting much, but definitely go and check it out, because I think you'll enjoy it. It's definitely a different movie, and it will answer your questions to it makes sense to why it came back, kind of.
Mhm.
But you won't know that until you see it, so check it out.
Yeah, definitely will be looking into it, my friend.
Awesome. What'd you see?
So I went back to two classics, which were the 1940s, actually the 1930s or 40s Frankenstein film with Boris Karloff as Frankenstein. Now, I usually try to sneak in a classic film from the movie monster era, and I happened to come home one day, and actually my mom was off from work that day and was watching it. So I sat down and watched it. It just amazes me how, even though it's so plain in terms of, or less, subtle compared to today's horror, like it still holds up in the mannerisms of Boris Karloff as the monster, the actors around him. It's such a great ensemble that it makes you feel like the movie still holds up today, and it's almost 80 years old, 85 years old. I still love the tone of it. I love the fact it has music to it. I love that, even the parts where he kills, say, the hunchback guy, he kills him, he hangs him, the scream, and then seeing him hanging there, and then him trying to break through the door. That whole, sequence of scenes just shows you the frustration of him. Or even when they're trying to get him to sit in the chair, you can see the hunchback guy bringing a torch to him to freak him out. Like little things like that. I love the detail, attention to detail in it. And it's something that I think that is missing from films these days is, yes, you want to go with the, scary aspect of it, but you also have to have a good feeling of how you present it itself. Some scary films that I've watched that are considered scary, like say some of the Conjuring ones, they don't have that feeling of they're in place of trying to portray that character. And I think Karloff had a hard job because he doesn't have any speaking lines, like most of his grunts in this film anyway. And then The Bride he speaks, but I think he just did an awesome job. And it was kind of like based off a book that really gave no definition or really description of what the monster was. They basically made it for their own in this film, and I think it's classic and still holds up today. What do you think about the original Frankenstein?
Again, everything that you said is correct. It's a classic. I mean, what do you think of that? Just that name, Boris Karloff. You think of Frankenstein. I mean, I do generally, and not only that, but he's making a little bit of a renaissance. There's two movies coming out within the next year that are Frankenstein movies. Today at the movie theater, I watched a trailer for one, and dude, it looked to me awesome. It had Christian Bale and Mia Goth, and they both were like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. And this movie looked directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal too. It just looked incredible visually and something new and different. But back to this one, this was new and different when it came out, and it still holds up as new and different. It's better than a lot of horror movies that do come out. So it's cool that it's lasted the test of time.
And the crazy thing is, this film, with the success of Dracula, Lugosi was offered this role, and he didn't want to be in makeup, spend hours on makeup, and this was given to Karloff, and basically this made him one of the biggest, if not the biggest, movie monster portrayal in the horror community ever. He surpassed Lugosi, unfortunately for Lugosi, but I mean, better for him. Like, the whole persona of Frankenstein is based off Karloff and that look. I mean, even the Munsters took the Frankenstein look from that, and even going towards future now, that whole aspect of the way he acts and whatnot is traditionally the look of the Frankenstein from 1931. I'm looking forward to the Maggie Gyllenhaal one that's being made, and I'm actually looking forward to Del Toro's one that's coming out as well.
Mhm.
I hope they're
Those
both
two.
good.
Mhm.
What do
Yeah,
you
I
think
like
of
classic
the Mary
stuff.
Shelley one with Robert De Niro?
That came out at such a crazy time. I think it came out trying to be like a Bram Stoker's. It's not a terrible movie.
Mhm.
Actually, I'll even speak highly. I haven't seen it in such a long time. I really got to rewatch it to really give you an honest answer on it. Kenneth Branagh, though, he does good work usually.
Yeah. So I thought it was okay. I played the video game on Super Nintendo. It was really bad.
They had a video game. Oh, that's right. They
Yeah.
did have a video game.
Yeah, they had one for that. And they had one for Dracula too.
Oh man, I missed those video game rollouts.
Yeah.
The Donkey Kong. Wow, never mind. We're going.
For my second film, I watched the 1979 classic Alien. Ridley Scott, thought of something different while slashers were just starting to come out with this Halloween release in 78. And now we have something where the tagline was "In space, they can't hear you scream." And I always thought that was like one of the best taglines for any film. This has spawned franchise and sequels and prequels to Covenant, to Romulus, that are still coming out, to a TV show that's out. I have not had a chance to watch it, but I definitely will. But the original Alien, I think, is just a blockbuster in terms of great jump scares. Crazy that a female lead is just a badass. Kind of set off Sigourney Weaver's career, portraying her. And now I hear she's coming back for the new one.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the Alien?
I mean, it's a classic. I mean, I grew up in a Halloween was bigger than Christmas in my house. But like I try to think of like the type of movies in the horror genre that were like big, and Alien and Aliens and those type of movies were huge. They're scary in a different type of way than Frankenstein or The Black Phone, which gives you all different types of horror. And this one definitely opened the door to a lot of other things. This week, honestly, I read a review about how actually when James Cameron got hired for Aliens, the crew was pissed off because they really wanted Ridley Scott to direct the second one. And there was some battles going on Aliens before it got done, but it just shows James Cameron's, will to fight through that and not while watching like Jaws. It sounded like Steven Spielberg was about to break down and almost give up, where like James Cameron looked like he was like, no, fuck it. This is my vision. This is what I'm going to do. But in this movie, Ridley Scott sets the bar for all that other stuff to happen. So this is a classic movie.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that in our Aliens breakdown a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just classic stuff. And I think it's funny too that when we do movies, when we do our list, I usually give Tony my list because Tony does the visuals for the show. He does the PowerPoint. And I mentioned Henry Dean Stanton in Christine. He's also an Alien.
I love it. That's what, and I know you're not like the biggest, but who you are a fan who does do this a little bit is like the Chili Peppers. They'll start jamming on one song and then they go right into the next song. And you don't really expect it if you're listening to it. And that's us. I love it. That's a good tandem right there, my friend.
Yeah. Really, really awesome stuff. So that's what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over on Facebook or at the show pod on Twitter, X, or on Instagram, or even just in the comments. Tone, before we get into our next, the main event, I want to touch on, we lost a good one this week, unfortunately, with the passing of icon actress Diane Keaton. She unfortunately passed this week. I didn't know she was sick. It was really just out of nowhere. I saw your text and I was like, what? She passed away? at the age of 79, which I think is still kind of young. The funny thing is, I happened to watch a clip of not as good as it gets. The film with her, Something's Gotta Give.
Mhm.
Her and
Jack.
Nicholson, when he's telling her why she wears turtlenecks, and she's like, "Well, I'm just a turtleneck kind of wearing gal." You know, I remember her from that film. Of course, everybody remembers her from The Godfather. But such a phenomenal actress. You know, it's just unfortunate that she passed, and the icon, you know, setting the standard, and she was a revolutionary in terms of actresses, you know, putting forth. What do you think about Diane Keaton? I almost called her Michael Keaton. Diane Keaton.
She was in. I mean, I was trying to. This is one of my jokes of the evening. I'll just give you the prerequisite here. I was thinking of some horror movies she had ever been in. Like, did she ever, like, because we're doing a horror movie special, and then it came to me. She has been in a lot of horror movies. You could actually probably do 10 of them for your 31 Days of Horror, and you're saying, no, she hasn't. I don't know any horror movies she's in. Well, she did work with a horror figure, Woody Allen, quite a lot.
Oh,
so
God,
you could, but I don't want to down the work that they did, because to be fair, Eddie Hall's got some of the funniest one-liners I've ever heard.
Mhm.
And I like to use one of them all the time. One of them he says in there, and I mean, they're just really good chemistry working together. But her work with Godfather, you know, her work even in stuff. My mom liked this movie called The Family Stone.
Mhm.
Craig T. Nelson is in it.
Sly?
Well, that would have been cool if it was Sly and The Family Stone, but it was also very cool just to see her just kind of, like you said, do the Jack Nicholson role. She was just a great actress all around. And her definite line in Godfather 2 is one of my favorites. It was an abortion, Michael, an abortion, and I had it. It was a son, and I had it killed because of you. It's such a great line that she says, and she'll be missed.
Definitely. She's an Oscar-winning actress, won Golden Globe, but nominated for 4 Academy Awards altogether, winning 1. Yeah, just crazy that she passed. And it makes you think too, Tone. Like, a lot of the people that we grew up with, even though we're not close to her age, but I mean, she was an icon when we were growing up. You know, the Jack Nicholson, she was in a film. He's in his 80s. Dustin Hoffman's in his 80s. Robert De Niro's almost 80, if not 81. And then you have Al Pacino, who's in his 80s. Like, these people are aging. Clint Eastwood's, you know, almost turned to dust. He's in his 90s.
Well, when you don't hear from someone from a long time, or they don't
Mhm.
put out an album, or they don't release a movie, or you're just not seeing them out and about, that's when you're like, I wonder what's going on. And then Gene
Yeah.
Hackman, you know, then you hear he's been actually laying for, watch this. We didn't, but there could have been a world where we're talking about The Unforgiven when we did that episode or whatever. And then he's laying in that house for a week and nobody knows he's laying there. You know how crazy that is when you really
Yeah.
think about it? And that's just sometimes how it all goes down. And it's a shame, but that's why we're here to honor them.
It's kind of funny too, in that on The Forgiven, when he says, "I wasn't supposed to die like this. I was building a house." But yeah, I mean, just icons, and you know, I might pop in a Diane Keaton film. You know, going forward. Just sad that she passed. Just wanted to pay a little tribute to her. If you guys have any favorite Diane Keaton films or roles, or lines, just drop them in the comments. Uh, But with that, Tone, let's move on to something more, I guess, more an upbeat, if you want to call it that. We're going to talk some movie villains here. We're going to compare the two. We're going to give the pros and cons of each, and then even some similarities. Then we're going to give our own verdict, and we'll give you the verdict from, I put these in ChatGPT, the verdict from ChatGPT, and the audience verdict, which other people have thought. So we'll give you our own. So you get 3 verdicts today. Our own, ChatGPT's, and then the audience verdict. You want to get started, my man?
Let's do it.
Did one list for a dog. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Jack. Mailman Jack just came in and out of there from top rope. All right, here we go. Here's our first 2 challengers.
Hi, Georgie. Aren't you going to say hello?
Pennywise, played by Tim Curry from the 1990 miniseries. Pennywise has pros. He's portrayed with clownish charm that makes sudden menace deeply unsettling. Psychologically manipulative, he haunts victims and plays on their fears. His iconic moments are they will float down here that traumatize a generation. Also, I love the waha waha he does when he's on top of the library. That's always cracked me up. He also does a great little jokes. Tim Curry, I think, is probably the best character actor I've ever seen in my lifetime, and that's saying a lot because I love a lot of actors, but I think and actresses. I think Tim Curry is by far one of the best, if not the best. In my opinion, he's the best. Doesn't get enough love for it. Can play any role and just knock it out of the ballpark. Some of the cons of this character is it was a 1990 TV effect, so it had censorship. Some scenes feel campy or humorous to modern viewers. He's physically less intimidating. He's more human movement and less monstrous. Also, his teeth here are after he loses the first battle versus the losers, so his teeth are like he ate a lot of candy in this picture. Also, predictable. Once you get used to his traditional clown look, you kind of figure out what he's going to do. But Tone, you are going to do his counterpart. And before you do that, let's play one of his clips.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat.
All right. Oh, am I still there?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay. The pros of the Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård's version. The pros are visually terrifying with unsettling movements and facial distortions. More aggressive and unpredictable, attacks are feral and shocking. Uses CGI to morph into nightmare forms tailored to victims. And Skarsgård's performance blends playfulness with demonic intensity. The cons? Heavily reliance on jump scares and CGI. Less dialogue, less dark humor than Curry's version. Overexposure of his monster lessens mystery. Inconsistent power level at times due to plot pacing.
And their similarities are they both are the same ancient shape-shifting entity. So they're both played by, they're both same role, just played differently. They mix playfulness with evil to prey on human fears or children's fears. They share iconic lines and imagery. The Yao float is one of the lines they say. Nearly invincible, defeated only by courage and unity or a turtle, if you read the book. Target innocence and children as their core victims. Now, Pennywise is getting a resurgence. They're doing a show on HBO Max called Welcome to Derry, which is a prequel to the It films. It's been given the blessing by Stephen King to do so. So this is going to be something that's completely new, which I look forward to seeing how they're going to carry this with Skarsgård reprising his role as Pennywise. So, in your opinion, taking these pros and cons, your own personal feelings, who do you think is the scarier of the two or the portrayal of the two?
Well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I was there on opening night for both of them. So I can tell you, remember sitting down on ABC and watching it with my mom. And then I remember watching the other one at the movie theater on opening day weekend. And you're saying which one scared me more? Well, the Tim Curry one scared me more. But then again, I was a kid, watching the new one as a new one, that first chapter of the two, that scared me. But so did the first chapter of the first one. It was like the second chapter of both of the movies. It meandered a little bit. For me, not to say in a bad, it just didn't hit me as hard as at least the first hour and a half of the first two movies. But I just didn't like the ending of either one of the movies, but at least the first one with that spider. But Tim Curry's performance is just so awesome. So is Bill Skarsgård's though.
So in my opinion, just going off, I've read the book several times. So you know me, I like to as close to the book as you can get it. And the 1990 version is nowhere near as close as the book, which is fine. It's something different. They had to change things around. The newer version is more closer until the second part, which is completely they just threw out all the stuff with Mike Hanlon and all that stuff. But in terms of the characters, just if I go by how he's described, Pennywise is supposed to be at first presentable to try to attract children to him, which I think Curry does a great job of that. Uh, I think that Skarsgård plays him great, but in my opinion, Curry, due to the way he's made up, he looks more like Bozo. He gives them a, you know, a kind of feeling of safeness, or he leads them in like a spider in a web. While if you had two of these clowns come up to you, one was Curry and one was Skarsgård, and they weren't doing anything freaking, he just walked up to you, which one are you gonna be more afraid of? You're probably gonna be more afraid of Skarsgård, which means you're not gonna fucking go near him. Like if George, like the whole scene where he pops out of the sewer and Georgie screams, that is more of an upfront fear, and I think Skarsgård pulls that off. In terms of an overall fear, I think it's Curry that does a better job, just for the fact that he acts all nice and then turns into the vicious animal that he is to eat the kid. One of the parts that always sticks out with me with the Curry thing is when he grabs Sam and he throws Stan, he pushes him against the wall, and he's like, "Oh, be afraid. You taste so much better when you're scared." That always stuck with me as a kid. Of course, the Curry version was the first one I saw, and my love for Curry does kind of weigh in a little bit. But I would say, in my opinion, Curry is probably scary just for the fact that he can be nice at first and then turn it into an evil monster. Well, Skarsgård is kind of like presenting I'm bad either way. Now Skarsgård fucks kids up. I mean, he rips that kid's arm off in the beginning. So
that's why I think I'm a little more excited to see this from everything I've read and heard about this new show coming out. It's a prequel supposedly to the first movie. So hopefully they stick more to like straight up scares and creepiness. And from what I was looking at today, which was ironic when I was doing some more research for the movie, is that they kind of altered his look a little bit for this television show and made it a little bit more Curry-like than his look in this movie, which, you know, was fine. But I'm curious to see what the final result will be.
well, yeah, that's another thing too. And actually in the again in the book, he actually looks more like Skarsgård in terms of his dress. He's in a gray clown suit.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, they both done a great job. I just prefer Curry over Skarsgård just because that's just me. But the verdict from first ChatGPT says Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is scarier. His ferocity and disturbing physicality makes him a relentless nightmare. Tim Curry's version remains creepier in psychological sense, but Skarsgård's monstrous unpredictability delivers pure terror. And I can see that, but another thing too that kind of takes it away from me with the Skarsgård is he's CGI a lot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That kind of messes it up a little bit for me. But in terms of the audience, fans are divided. Older generations crowns Curry as a scarier for psychological trauma. Younger horror fans tend to vote Skarsgård due to intensity and visuals. Overall, Skarsgård narrowly wins the fear factor by modern standards. So that is the verdict for the Pennywise battle off, man.
I mean, you know, I could agree. I could see all these points. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, that first movie's scary. I mean, both movies, I mean, are scary, but the first movie and this new thing is scary. So I could see ChatGPT's point.
All right, man. You want to move on to our next challenge?
Let's do it.
All right. For our second round, we have The Thing.
Damn it, child, torch it!
The Thing from 1983's The Thing by John Carpenter. Its pros are it has perfect shapeshifting, can mimic anyone flawlessly. It's indestructible unless incinerated, with even fragments live though for the flames. Highly intelligent and a patient survivor. It could wipe out humanity if it escapes the containment. Grotesque, unpredictable transformations include body horror. One of my favorite parts is when the guy is giving the dude shocks, and it like turns his stomach into basically a giant mouth, and it cuts off the guy's arms.
Oh, that part's awesome.
Yeah. I was going to use the scene you have now with the head. It was just a little too long, so I didn't want to get copyrighted.
Oh, that's good.
The cons for it is it's weak to fire and heat. detectable via testing blood, fillings, etc. It requires direct physical contact to infect. Vulnerable when exposed in open combat. Loses power if survivors stay united and rational. Tone, you want to talk about its challenger here right before I play this clip?
Let's do it. Hey. All right, we got the pros of the Xenomorph. He's a lethal hunter with superhuman speed and strength. Acid blood defends against attacks. He's stealthy, cunning, stalker. Survives extreme environments and adapts quickly. Nightmare-inducing life cycle. Face hugger to chest burster to adult. Can swarm under a queen's control, forming deadly hives. The cons. Needs hosts. Cannot breed without them. Easily recognized, no disguise ability. Can be killed by heavy weaponry. Vulnerable to fire, cold, and vacuum exposure. Predictable animal-like instincts.
And their similarities, they're both extraterrestrial and they're killing machines. They thrive on stealth and suspense. They deliver unforgivable gore and shock moments. Fire is their shared weakness, which I thought was kind of funny. Iconic legacy in both the horror/sci-fi cinema realm. Tone, who you got for this one, man?
Oh, this one. I mean, they're like, it's like, oh, I'm not even going to bring up, but it's like taking two deadly diseases and saying which one is worse. I mean, it depends on what kind of deadly disease do you want to take you out more. I mean, if you're saying like you're going to be killed quicker by the alien, I believe. The thing is something that you don't want to let in because it just infects everybody. The thing's more closer to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but how does that work together? That's the one thing about the thing you never really understand, where you've seen so many alien movies where you know that the xenomorph has a queen and they work together. How would the thing be able to fight the alien? You know what I mean? Like in their world, because it seems so weird because they never really get into that, you know? So I'm going to go with the xenomorph just for the fact of it's scary as hell if it's running right at you.
Yeah. So this one was tough for me. The xenomorph definitely was scared the shit out of me if it was like running at me. But I tend to be more feared of the unknown than like of the known. Like if I'm hanging out, we're doing this podcast and we're together, and then all of a sudden you start fucking like trying to kill me and eat me, like in the thing. That would, like, of course, I probably die of a heart attack.
What would be quicker though, knowing and the part to me to get to eat you, or the point I'm already a xenomorph and I spit at you and it's 1 second?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think if I'm
4
choosing
minutes
death,
versus 1 second. So it's like, you're right. I'm with you. You know, you go out with a bunch of people, and that's why the thing is I could be wrong for saying this, and I like Aliens more than Alien, so I'll just speak on Alien. That's why I like the thing a little bit more than Alien, because of the unknown factor in it. But straight up, if they were just like going at each other, you know what I mean? Like, Alien's kind of like, what is it, a cockroach? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, and I would wonder too, since Alien gets infected. No, since the thing infects, what if the alien face hugger like jumps on somebody who's infected by the thing?
that's what I mean. It's an inner battle. That's a movie right there, if you really think about it. Also, if you really think about it, the fact of why in the movie The Thing, okay, even if you see the second one, the other one, you know they come on that ship or whatever, but you don't really know where they come from. So what is an actual thing look like in the ship traveling from? Is there more? And is there, if there's a lot more, could a lot of them be more than a lot of the xenomorphs? We don't know all of that, but I could believe in The Thing winning too.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, I could totally see the thing winning, or even the xenomorph winning. The thing that, well, I keep saying that thing, but the xenomorph also can wipe out the thing because of its basic acid blood.
Yeah. Well, that's a dangerous tool right there.
But like, if a face hugger hunted it, I don't,
But
hunted
could
the
a
person affected.
thing infiltrate and become a alien?
That's what I'm saying. Like, could it? Like, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's that. But in terms of scariness, I would just say just the fact that the unknown just scares me. Now, if I'm gonna die, I had to choose a way to die, I'm definitely going with the xenomorph because he'll just shoot me with his little mouth in the head and I'm dead. Okay, just like what's his name? Buddy from Night at the Roxbury when he gets killed in Aliens for Resurrection. He's just standing there.
Oh yeah. I think a polarizer.
Yeah, he just. But let's see what the ChatGPT says. That the thing wins. It's paranoia-driven horror. That the idea that anyone can be a monster is more psychologically chilling than the xenomorph's physical brutality. And then this did a poll on the audience, so it went and researched on the audience. I asked it to. It says both rank among horror's greatest creatures, but the thing often edges ahead for its mind-bending fear of mistrust and infiltration. The xenomorph dominates physical horror. The thing dominates existential horror, which I totally agree with, man. Yeah, let us know what you guys think about this. Well, hello, gents. We were discussing Terrifier versus Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean will whoop Terrifier's ass, Sam. Yeah, Mr. Bean is he's a fighter. That'll be Terrifier.
Right there.
All right, so we're going to move on to our third round here. And for our third round, we have one of the contestants coming in from the world of Clive Barker. We got our guy, Pinhead. When I can find his damn video. Here we go.
I am the way.
Doug Bradley, man, that guy is phenomenal. I met him in person, and he's such a quiet dude, too. Like, so nice, real quiet, and just it's just ridiculous, man. He's so good. I love Doug Bradley. Go ahead.
But real quick, I met this guy when I was working at the pawn shop who I've met a lot of people who liked horror, but I met this guy who had a Hellraiser collection, which is crazy because, you meet Friday the 13th fans, but you don't meet a whole lot of people who say, oh, Hellraiser, I have a huge collection. I just thought it was cool, but go on.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he was a sadomasochist.
Well, yeah, I probably didn't get that far. I probably should
coming out in his leather suit and choke collar. So the pros for Pinhead: he's an embodiment of sadistic philosophical evil. He commands hooked chains and controls hell's dimensions. He's calm, eloquent, and terrifying confident. He's visually iconic with nail-studded visage. Punishes those who seek forbidden pleasure or moral horror. I always thought that was funny. Gods to some, angels to some, demons to others. Like, it's just crazy how he's like, who the hell's gonna call him a god? But there's some crazy people out there. His cons are he only appears when you summon via the puzzle box. He's bound by hell's rules and can be banished. He's stoic and impersonal, less personal menace. The only thing I disagree with on that point is in Hellraiser 2, he actually has some humanity, but that is taken out. Later sequels weaken his mystique, and yes, I mean, that kind of happens to horror franchises. His niche appealed compared to Main Street slashers. Yeah, his niche is not as popular as other slashers. But his opponent, this guy's a pretty big badass.
Miss me?
His opponent is Freddy.
Miss me?
Frederick. Mr. Frederick Krueger. The pros: attacks in dreams, inescapable while sleeping, shape-shifting and omnipotent in nightmares, taunting personality, amplifies psychological torment, iconic glove and burned visage, and returns as long as people remember him. His cons is he can be pulled into reality and killed temporarily. Power tied to fear and belief. Later films made him more comedic. Sleep deprivation delays his reach. Initially confined to the Elm Street victims.
And their similarities are they're both supernatural villains from alternate realms. Torture victims psychologically before killing. Nearly impossible to kill permanently. They speak iconic lines with theatrical flair, embody philosophical and physical fear. I can start under this one, Tone. So, in terms of dead fear, right away, I would say that the Freddy Krueger character is scarier than the Pinhead character. Not in their appearance, but just the fact that the Pinhead character only comes when you mess with the lament box, and Freddy comes in your dreams, if you remember him. And that's one thing that freaks me out is everybody has bad dreams. How many dreams have you had where you can swore they were real? And in this case, Freddy Krueger kills you in your dreams. And for those who don't know, the story of Nightmare on Elm Street was actually inspired by people in a small tribe that were actually dying in their dreams that Wes Craven had read about. They had moved to LA. He saw them, a couple of them dying from it, of a woman chasing them in their dreams and dying about it. Scared to Death podcast has a great little story about that. But Wes Craven saw that and inspired his character for Freddy Krueger. Now, Freddy is not as menacing. I love how Sam put the sweater and fedora in Cell. He ain't scary. The Freddy in the first film is terrifying, and then he kind of gets more jokey, and like the second one, he kind of is a little scary. But as you progress, he gets more comical, and that's Robert Englund. But New Nightmare, if you ever seen New Nightmare, he kind of reverts back to being the demon that he is. So he ends in kind of a nice closed gap there. The Jackie Earle Haley, I love Jackie Earle Haley, but that was just a bad portrayal. It wasn't his fault. It was mostly writing and the way they made it look for that film. But I love Doug Bradley. I think he's a badass actor. I think Pinhead is terrifying. But in terms of me being scared, it'll probably be Freddy because Freddy can control your dreams. What do you think?
I mean, Freddy 1 through 4, those first 4 movies, I think are pretty awesome. And Freddy wasn't always my favorite, actually. But the more I watch Freddy, I really like Freddy a lot. Hellraiser, I mean, I've watched the first Hellraiser. I'll never forget going to see Bloodlines with my dad for some unknown reason. Movie sucked. But as I was telling Katie today, I just never gotten into Hellraiser, and I need to get more into it, I guess. But Freddy is super scary. I mean, anything where you're falling asleep and you are being attacked. This movie I was talking about a little while ago, Black Phone 2, it really reminded me a lot of the first, in a good way, of the first Nightmare on Elm Street also, because there is no jokes. It's a lot of just pure scares, and that's what makes Freddy, when you really think about him, really scary.
Yeah. I highly... Can we ease up on the language, Tony? Please say heck razor instead.
Heck razor. Heck razor.
Sorry about that, Sam. I highly recommend, Tone, if you've seen the original Hellraiser, watch the second one. The second one, I think, is the best of the series.
Really? You think it's better than the first one?
Yeah, I like the first one a lot. I think the first one, though, he's more of a anti-hero in the first one, because he's not really bad, he's not really good. He's more after Uncle Frank. And the second one is when he is bad and then turns good, and then there's another villain in there. But the second one's probably my favorite Hellraiser film.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, check that one out.
Cool.
So let's see what people say, the ChatGPT and the audience say. Freddy Krueger is scarier. His ability to invade dreams makes him a threat no one can avoid. Pinhead's terror is bound by choice. Freddy's is universal. And then with the audience verdict, when it did a poll of all stuff on the internet, Freddy dominates public perception as a scarier boogeyman. Pinhead remains a cult favorite for fans of sadomasochist, existential horror. But Freddy's dream invasion terror left a bigger cultural scar. And I would agree with that one, man.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree too.
Yeah, that's just, Freddy takes down Hellraiser in this one.
Bye-bye, Pinhead. Bye, Pinhead.
Damn you. No. Okay, that was on loop. Okay, so we're going to go into round 4. It's kind of cool they added this gong because I didn't add that.
Wrong one here.
It's okay. Round 4 is our guy Charles Lee Ray will lead us off.
Wrong one here.
Que hables, maldito, de lo contrario te arrojaré al fuego.
¡A la verga, me vale verga, perro! ¡Y cálense a la verga, hija de su puta madre, a la verga! ¡La verga, vergazos con la verga!
Sadly, something happened. But go on.
It's okay. We got Charles Lee Ray here, Chucky, with his pros: smart, manipulative, serial killer inside a doll, small size, allows stealth and surprise, physically strong and nearly indestructible, darkly humorous yet threatening, iconic killer doll, fear symbol. And his cons are he's limited by his size. He can be destroyed temporarily, and man, he gets jacked up in all his films. He became more comedic in later sequels, yeah, but Brad Dourif is awesome. He's bound by voodoo ritual rules and usually fixated on specific victims. Well, I mean, he has to take the people that he told who he was to become a boy again. He just wants. He's a horror version of Pinocchio, man. And with that tone, we're gonna go into his challenger, which is Sam.
Sam, the pros, spirit of Halloween, ancient and immortal, punishes anyone who breaks Halloween rules. Love that. Childlike yet demonic, eerie design, silent and methodical executioner, unstoppable once you violate the code. His cons: only acts on Halloween night, doesn't harm rule followers, physically small, throwable, silent nature, limits psychological dialogue fear, and less mainstream exposure.
And their similarities are they're both child size, but they hide deadly intent. They have signature weapons tied to a theme: knife versus candy, hard to kill or permanently stop. Both blend dark humor and horror, both huge cult followings and Hollywood icons. Sam, more of the recent. Tone, pick this one.
I mean, Sam is pretty scary. I mean, but again, I mean, Chucky was an OG for me. I mean, seeing that first movie, Brad Dourif's dialogue as Chucky is some of the best. You know what? If you ever got some time and you're just bored, I know we never have any of that, but I'd like to hear like Dourif's funniest lines in the first 3 Chucky movies, or the first 4 Chucky movies, and then you put Robert Englund's funniest lines and see which one is pound for pound, which is funnier. Because you're right, both characters go into a funny direction, but they say some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard be said and mixed in with the horror, and that's why I like it so much. I'm going Chucky by the matter of fact of Chucky 2 and 3 are some of my favorites of cheesiness, especially Chucky 2 is really ridiculous.
The TV series is also good with us.
It actually wasn't bad. The first season was really, really good.
Shout out to Jennifer Tilly. She just turned, I think, 66.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Seed of Chucky, and the later seasons kind of take a little bit more of a Seed of Chucky route, but that's not a bad thing. It's not terrible.
The only thing I remember from that is that it had that commercial, and then I had to put in that commercial, Britney Spears has not appeared in this movie. That's the only thing I remember. For me, I'm going to have to go and agree with you, Chucky. And the reason is, take out Brad Dourif, take out, the whole, lines, the comedic stuff. Sam won't attack you if you're following Halloween rules. I follow Halloween rules. You follow Halloween rules. So, I mean, we be okay. So he's not really a menacing person. He only goes after bad people. To deserve what they get.
I have a blow up on my lawn, Sam. Please don't attack me.
Yeah, he has an attack. And Chucky's just an asshole. So I'm gonna go with Chucky because he doesn't care.
Oh,
he just kills people. Just like when he beat the hell out of that teacher with that ruler.
Better, the funniest is in the second one where he buries the other Chucky.
Yeah.
The good, like the nice one that he gets, and he's just like, then he pretends to be it. Just but he takes a lot. I mean, he gets melted and all of that, but I still like in the first one though when like Brad Dourif's actually still Charles Lee Ray, and trying to like these names of some of these horror characters, Charles Lee Ray, Freddy Krueger, really awesome, memorable names. Jason Voorhees.
What was his name? The Southside Slasher, was that his name, or the Southside Strangler? I forget Charles Lee. Who, if somebody knows his nickname,
please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. But my favorite line from Brad Dourif is like, "I'll get you, Eddie." You'll get you. Or that line when he gets mad.
Can you imagine just sitting on a chair in the recording studio booth and watching him record his lines for that? How fun that would have been.
Yeah, and when they did the newer films with Jennifer Tilly as the doll when she transforms, they actually had them in sound booths. I saw like
oh, that's awesome.
Dead Meat. If you got another YouTube channel, Dead Meat, they do kill counts. Really good source for horror stuff. He has a lot of back of the scene, behind the scenes kind of stuff. And for when he was doing the Chucky series, he had that with Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly, and they were going back and forth, and it was just awesome. Like Brad Dourif is one of the best horror people. Like completely so intense. I have something to say about him later, but yeah, Charles Lee Ray's nickname was the Lakeshore Strangler. But the verdict, let's see who the verdict is. The verdict says from ChatGPT says Sam is scarier. His supernatural vengeance feels inevitable, ancient, and merciless. Chucky is brutal and loud, but Sam is a quiet force of Halloween judgment. The audience verdict, though, says that Chucky wins the popular vote thanks to longevity and cultural fame, but horror fans increasingly praise Sam's silent, creepy power as a more unsettling concept. So I guess we're going to have to go with good old Chuck on that one.
Chuck. Well, I mean, there's just not enough of Sam. I'm really hoping we get the sequel. I mean, you talked about a great movie in your 31 Days of Horror. It was the Trilogy of Terror. I still have my DVD around here. The little doll in that one. I mean, can you imagine having like 4 or 5 movies with that little doll? I mean, that could have been, that could have been a movie, a whole thing. Or the little story in Tales from the Hood with the little dolls. That is a movie in itself that would have been an amazing movie if you really think about it. But
I agree, Spags. Jennifer Tilly still does.
Oh yeah, she sure does. She's
a badass poker player too.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, man. Trilogy of Terror was something I wanted to work on for a while. It's always been on one of my lists. I had to remove it a couple times. Chucky 9, The Birth of Chuck E. Cheese. That's a real horror story. But I just never could fit it in, and this year I could. The funny thing about the 31 Days of Horror, I'm in this Discord group of the horror. It's a horror group of Chicago people, and they do meetups for movies and stuff like that. So I post the 31 Days of Horror there so they can watch. And the question I keep getting is that your real voice? And I'm like, yeah, why? They're like, oh man, it's good. I thought it was AI at first. I'm like, what the hell? Do I sound AI?
No, you sound that good.
I was like, what?
Sound that good.
And then like I've heard other people tell me, are you even talking? I'm like, yeah. I just read from my script. But yeah. So we have Chucky winning this battle, and now we're moving on to round number 6. No, this is number 5. I'm sorry, round number 5. Let's get the. And our first challenger is from an iconic series, and I'll just show you where he's from. Oh man, we got the great Michael Myers coming in.
Sorry.
It's okay, my friend. Michael Myers' pros are he's silent. He is emotionless. He's the embodiment of evil. He stalks former familiar suburban settings. He moves quietly and unpredictable. He is near immortal and has a lot of endurance. I mean, the guy walks all over the damn place, Tone, and he doesn't get tired, which I think is pretty crazy. He creates dread through presence and not speed, and I always love that about him. He's slow and deliberate is one of his cons. He's human originally. He can be injured, but he is human. He's focused mainly on specific targets. Mostly Laurie Strode is his main squeeze to grab there. He doesn't play mind games. His fear weakens if his mystery is over-explained. Now, before we get to his challenger, Tone, would you agree that his fear just weakens due to him not being able to, changes to his story and whatnot? Like, there's so many rechanges of his story.
There's a lot that really you can say to a lot of this, to be frankly honest with you. But we're going to get to that. I'll answer that question when I do my part here.
Okay, so let's go on to his challenger.
You a dead meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool.
We got Jason Voorhees, the massive, unstoppable physical powerhouse is his first pro. Undead resilience, feels no pain. Hunts isolated victims with precision. Creative, brutal kills. Iconic silent look. Hockey mask terror. His cons, limited intelligence. Bound to Camp Crystal Lake area. Can be temporarily subdued, one-dimensional motivation, predictable formula in sequels.
Yes, and their similarities are they're both muted mass slashers with legendary status. There's superhuman durability. They stalk and strike killers with using melee weapons. Minimal motives, pure evil intent. And there's an eternal fan debate with their rivals. As we can say, Jason was against Freddy, and if he had to do a Mount Rushmore of horror slashers and villains, Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers are probably when you're 3, right? And you probably rotate on the 4. Maybe Pinhead can be number 4, or Leatherface.
I'd put definitely Chucky would be my 4th, and I would
even Chucky, yeah. So it could be
I would rotate,
Yeah.
but Leatherface and Pinhead aren't bad examples, but in this battle here, okay, back to your original. Can you ask me the question one more time? Because are you pretty much hold on before I ask me again? Are you pretty much asking me? Do you think Michael's his scariness has gone down because the story has kept switching?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I love Michael Myers, I love Halloween. Like say the Green Halloween series, has it kind of brought down the mystique and fear of Michael Myers with the remakes?
I'm back. What I believe is that you're right on that, but that's not why I believe he's less scary. I believe yes, I guess that is why. I believe Jason just goes on a murderer's row of films. To me, 1 through Manhattan are pretty close to being amazing in all different types of ways. Where Halloween 1 is great, 2 is great, 3 he's not in it, 4 and 5 are pretty good, 6 sucks, and honestly, after that, the levels of sucking could go even lower than what 6 is. So you're saying to yourself, where Jason, it isn't really till he goes to space, but Freddy versus Jason is awesome. And so is that remake that they made. I will tell you that Jason remake is better than the Freddy remake, any of the Michael Myers remakes, because it's the closest thing that feels like the old movie. So, but when you're going head to head, like if we're just saying who's scarier, I don't know. But if you're saying if they ever did a battle, Michael would be gone in like 2 seconds. Michael isn't really strong in a lot of ways, where Jason is, like as you put, but he's got like ridiculous strength.
I'll say, Spags has some strong feelings about that Freddy remake.
No, and you know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's a shame. It's a shame that it wasn't because they filmed some of that over in Gary. It's a shame that they didn't. It didn't do better. They had some good cast. Clancy Brown was in it too. Just didn't hit.
Yeah, man. For this one, I have to go with Jason. Reason being, because he's supernatural, and he's just an imposing figure. Michael, he's imposing. I guess if you want to go with the Rob Zombie films.
So Michael isn't supernatural?
Well, I mean, later he is, and at first he isn't. I mean, he's a mental patient from the first one, and he. But you know, I mean, they only brought him back because fans wanted him back after Halloween. Halloween was supposed to be a series of different stories every year. But iconically, Michael, I would say Jason with sequels has been treated a little better than Michael Myers. But you know, in terms of fear, it's got Jason's like definitely he's just brutal. He'll kill anybody. Michael Myers, at least like there's points where he does show his human side. When like him and Jamie are upstairs in the attic, when she calls him uncle. He sheds a tear before he attacks her. There's parts where he wants to get to Laurie and like he still has some like sense of hesitation in certain spots. But Jason just doesn't give a fuck. He just kills you unless his mom tells you not to. So I would go with Jason here.
I mean, you would have to imagine too. Doesn't Jason probably have a higher murder count?
Oh, definitely by far. I mean, he just beats the shit out of people in sleeping bags, man. For the verdict, though, since we both went Jason, we're up against Michael Myers is scarier from ChatGPT. Home invading nature feels disturbingly real. Jason is more brutal, but Michael embodies the creeping fear of evil just outside your door. I would say Jason does that as well. The audience verdict, though, Michael wins the most scariest slasher polls for his subtlety and realism. Jason is seen as more violent spectacle, but Michael's tension-filled horror keeps fans checking their windows at night. He also wears a William Shatner mask, so I guess that makes him even more scary. But I have to go with Jason. You went with Jason, and the ChatGPT and the poll from most of the audience that it did a research on is going with Michael. Bags went Jason, so I say Jason wins in our little battle. Let's.
That should be the name of the new movie. Jason wins instead of Jason lives.
Yeah. Heartbeat, baby.
I like it.
So that is that battle. Jason takes over. Michael knocks him out. This one actually is a really, really interesting one. It was very interesting when you sent this one to me. Let's get into our first challenger for our round 6. The werewolf from Silver Bullet. He's pure brute force and animal savagery. He's hidden identity by day adds suspense. He stalks familiar small town settings. He's unrelenting once threatened, and his classic transformation terror are all pros for him. He has cons, though. He's limited by the full moon cycle. He's weak to silver bullets. He lacks human intellect in beast form. He's confined to a small geographical area, and he's dated. His effects lessen impact today. I will disagree with that con. These are just cons that I found that people were saying about him. But he's up against a pretty decent challenger with this guy.
I am Dracula.
Dracula, Bela Lugosi. His pros: he's charismatic and hypnotic predator, seductive manipulations of victims, supernatural transformations and strength, atmospheric presence and calm menace, elegant embodiment of undead evil. His cons, known weaknesses, sunlight, garlic, and steaks, not the kind you eat. Limited to nighttime activity, slower pacing, feels tame to modern audiences. Narrow victim pool, mainly he is choosing targets. Violence implied, not shown.
Yes, and their similarities are they're both nocturnal predators with human facades, I think it's called. I wrote this, and I don't know why. I think I used some synonyms for this one. Faces, yes, human faces, basically. He's vulnerable to specific countermeasures, terrorize close-knit communities. They are rooted in folklore and superstition, and human by day, monster by night duality. Now, for this one, Tone, did you know you selected something that is pretty crazy because Dracula can turn into a wolf?
See? No. See, there you go. You threw me off right there.
So with that knowledge that Dracula can turn into a werewolf, I'm going with Dracula for this one. And because Bela Lugosi kicks ass.
Yeah. And I guess, what's really stupid in my head is that I was thinking of like doing Bram Stoker's Dracula, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally turns into a wolf in that movie, doesn't he? Or something like
Yeah.
that. Or like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. He's also in Nosferatu. I think he turns into a wolf too, if I'm not mistaken. But Silver Bullet, man, that werewolf is awesome. I don't think that those effects are outdated. I think I got Gary Busey with the famous piss on the Yankees, piss on the Dodgers. He's awesome as Uncle Red. I love that movie, Silver Bullet. People don't like that movie. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm a big Monster Squad fan.
Mm-hmm.
And in that movie, I mean, definitely the werewolf is taking orders from Dracula. So Dracula, like in a battle, I'm sure Dracula can do one of these type of things to the wolf in human form and get him to be under a spell. I mean, as you stated, he's not very bright when he turns into the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just animal instinct. So Dracula, I think, would be more able to win. What's funny is I was Karloff was going to be in place of Lugosi, and then you picked Karloff for your movie. So it's funny, it all kind of works together. And we got one more of them later as a surprise for the soundtrack of the week that I can't wait to share with you. So
nice.
It's going to be great. But yeah, I definitely go with Dracula.
So we got two Draculas. Spags chimes in here. He's going with Dracula as well. The verdict from ChatGPT says the werewolf from Silver Bullet is scarier. His violent unpredictability and raw ferociousness taps into his primal fears more than Dracula's methodical seduction. For the audience verdict, modern audiences tend to find the werewolf's brute terror scarier than Lugosi's statively Dracula. Classic fans revere Dracula's presence, but the werewolf's wins in sheer intensity and gore. I can see that. Now, if we went with the werewolf from A Werewolf in London,
well, we need a movie. What I really wanted to do is we need a movie that's like the werewolf equal to like Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
and like what it would be is like those vampires versus these wolf vampires.
Wolf,
and like,
man, he can think in wolf.
What?
And wolf. Jack Nicholson can think it as in wolf. He could think as the werewolf in there.
Okay.
James Spader, man. James Spader's a badass in that film.
You know what? You know what's hilarious is out of the millions of movies that horror movies, and that movie, it's been a long time since I've seen, but
it's bad.
Well, that it used to even be like to the point where like, and I want to like that movie so bad, so bad. You know, it's a good wolf movie. I don't know. Do you like the Benicio del Toro one?
I've seen that one time and it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta watch it again because I saw it at the theater. Thought it wasn't bad. I like Benicio, but in this battle though, if they were both in a room, I don't know, but like it's back. This is kind of like the xenomorph thing argument. I mean, you'd much rather be in a room with Dracula for a couple minutes probably than the werewolf, because the werewolf is just going to attack you. Where the Dracula, you're like, what the hell's gonna happen here?
I mean, he could also turn to a wolf and attack you, but
that's true.
Dracula is at least talk me to death or hypnotize me so I won't feel pain, unless he wants me to. But I'm a chunky guy, so he might enjoy giving me to his wives to die. But that is that battle, and we went with the Dracula. So, unfortunately, our guy, the werewolf, has died there. He got shot. But with that, let's go into round 7 here. We got 2 more battles here. For round 7, we have a couple, I guess, one newer, one older with this one. So let's go into our first person that's entering the arena. Baghul from the Sinister series. He has pros that are creepy, ancient demon hiding in cursed media. He corrupts children into killers. He spreads through imagery and film, modern digital fear. He's haunting, minimal design sticks in your memory. Once marked, escape is impossible. Cons are he needs victims to watch his films. He's indirect acts through influence, not direct attacks. He's targeted towards families and with children. No physical presence to fight. He's less universally recognized than our challenger, which is this person.
All right, we got coming up here next. Here we got Pazuzu. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Pazuzu, terrifyingly visceral possession scenes. Uses psychological spiritual torment, overpowers medicine, science, and faith, causes visible, what's the word I'm looking for? Causes visible reality warped phenomena, created a generation's fear of demonic possessions. The cons are he needs a host body to act, can be expelled via strong exorcism, limited to one's possession at a time, confined largely to one location, and horror relies partly on belief of in the demonic, which is crazy. That's would have been great. I mean, if you thought that quote in Exorcist, that movie definitely takes over. But
so the similarities are ancient demons with roots in mythology. Both target and corrupt children. They destroy family units from within. Need gateways or invitations to enter, defined by disturbing visual and auditory horror. Who are you going with on this one, Tone?
Oh, this one, honestly, I'm going to go a little bit crazy here because Sinister scares me more than The Exorcist does. Sinister is one of the only movies where I could actually tell you it's a scary movie. And that's why we almost didn't see the Black Phone 2, because Katie kept going, "Is it Sinister? This is going to be Sinister." And I go, "Katie, Sinister 2 sucked. So if Black Phone 2 is any indication, it's not going to be anything like Sinister." And then after I went home and we watched it, and she actually got in the car, she's like, "That was an equal mix of scares, psychological." And she even tear cried at the end. So she's like, "What horror movie do you cry at the end?" And I'm like, a good one. So I'll go with Sinister, but I could see why Pazuzu would win in this battle. It's more back to the Sam versus Chucky battle. You know what I mean? Chucky's more well known.
Yeah. So for me, Baghul is awesome in terms of the whole thing about taking over kids and having them kill their families through the movies, just being silent, not needing to speak, just in appearing, that is terrifying. I'd be scared shitless if that happened. But I would have to say Pazuzu wins, in my opinion. One, because The Exorcist is based off a real incident, whether you believe it or not, that was documented. Although the demon's name is changed to Pazuzu, it's based off a real event. That kind of set the standard for characters like Baghul to come out and be who he is in the future in films. So it set the standard. The fact that it takes over Reagan, it makes her more vicious and to talk all the crap and manipulate the mind, and just having her look at you as a possessed person when he walks into the room and like it's his mom in the old folks home, and then she's smirking when the priest dies. That shit was kind of freaky for me as a kid. Sinister didn't really scare me per se as much, but I also watched Sinister a lot older than I did the Exorcist. And then being Catholic, the Exorcist kind of affected me more.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
I would have to say, yeah.
I went to Catholic school up until 8th grade, so it's not. I guess I should look at it that way, like you said. Having spent so much time, I just can't get over the fact how good Sinister was in the scary.
It's very good. It's a very good.
And
film.
honestly, I'll get back to you on this debate when I watch Exorcist 3 because we talked about that on the last show.
Yes,
because
thank you for reminding me.
When I watch Exorcist 3, then I can say, oh, you know what, you're definitely right. And I know I will because I told you I'm too scared to watch it. So maybe that is my indication to try to.
So I will say this. I think the person Linda Blair does a great job as the demon in The Exorcist. The Heretic's a horrible film, and
that's why I was gonna say. I'm just gonna watch The Heretic.
But in my opinion, if I had to go between the two demons, between the Gemini Killer and Pazuzu, I will do the Gemini Killer. It was scared shit out of me because you have to. I'm not gonna explain the film to you, Tone, because I want you to watch it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more creepier. It's the director that directed that film is William Blatty, who wrote the Exorcist book and got an Oscar for his screenplay. So it's his vision. He didn't want to exorcism in the film, but it was added because studio wanted him to. But just Brad Dourif's dialogue during that, I put it in my 31 Days of Horror promo about I have a special way of killing people. I do these little and then the little small things that you miss, and you like. There's jump scares, but there's not really jump scares. I think it's done very, very well. I would say The Exorcist 3 is probably like out of that series, very, very close to maybe beating Part 1. It's very, very good to me. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're crazy," but that's to me. I just think it's Brad Dourif's performance is great.
By the next show, I'll have it watched. I definitely got to get it in here.
So the verdict from ChatGPT says Pazuzu is scarier. The pure intensity and desecration seen in The Exorcist deliver a more visceral, unforgettable horror experience. While in the audience, it wins again because it remains the reigning demon of horror history. The Exorcist impact transcends decades. Baghul terrifies modern audiences, but can't dethrone Pazuzu's legend. I would agree there, man. That's a
good agreement. I agree.
Baghul is gone. So
told him.
Yep. We're gonna go on to repeat. We're gonna go on to
I can't walk, I can't hum. You know? Go ahead and kill me, you cocksucker.
Do you think they could beat this guy?
I kick ass for the Lord.
Now that guy. What about that guy versus Pazuzu?
He fuck him up, Pazuzu. He kicks ass for the Lord, man.
There you
go. These next two is our last battle, round 8, and we got some big heavyweights here. I really like this one, Tone, that you picked. So let's start off with our first competitor. Jack Torrance, whose pros are he's realistic descent into madness, he's physically imposing and unpredictable, supernatural influence amplifies his rage, his emotional betrayal, family turned against his family. Iconic, he's terrifying, and the performance by Nicholson is second to none, and he's just phenomenal in that role, especially that scene I showed of him just veering into the camera. So well done. Cons, though, he's human. He can be overpowered or exhausted. His predictable mental breakdown arc. He targets only his family. shows brief hesitation and internal struggle. His contact specific, he's only at the Overlook Hotel. But he has a pretty decent challenger in
the great.
What do we have here? What is this? A handsome contest?
We have the amazing Norman Bates. The pros: seemingly normal exterior hides a killer. A split personality makes him unpredictable. Kills in safe places like showers. Disturbing voyeurism and sexual repression. Iconic final reveal: true madness visualized. Physically weak, easily subdued, limited number of victims. Mother personality phases give downtime. Twist loses shock value after first viewing. Sympathy factor reduces pure fear.
Yeah, and their similarities are they're both human psychological horror villains. They turn domestic or familiar spaces deadly. They intentionally appear trustworthy. Legendary performances define both. Victims are trapped and isolated with them. Tone, who you picking for this one, man?
You know what? I was thinking of this like world where like we're in this big room with a bunch of horror people, or maybe or not. And I would argue the fact that I really love these sequels to this Psycho movie. I think they're really ridiculous in a lot of different ways. Not that makes his character any more scary or anything. But I gotta go Jack Torrance. I gotta go him. He's just too when he flips, man. I mean, Norman in the dress doesn't scare me as much as Jack. Just the way when he's going up those stairs, he's like, and a lot of good that does you. Just like his mannerisms are great, man. Great.
Just give me a bat.
Yeah.
For me, I'm actually gonna go opposite of you.
Wendy.
I'm gonna go opposite of you here. Reason being, yeah, I said horror. Reason being is I'm gonna go Norman Bates because Jack, although that story can happen, it's more paranormal, while Norman is more based in reality, as there are serial killers, and just that aspect of him being friendly and being that guy at the hotel. I mean, think about it. When you go, I was at a hotel last week and Psycho popped into my mind because it's just something that I think about. Now, the only thing that would pop into my mind of The Shining would be if it was snowing and I was in Colorado.
See, but like, just me personally, you speak a lot of. We both speak a lot of. Man, these days suck. This work sucks. This day sucks. What if our job was, and I've thought about this so many times. Like, you take you, Jen and Vin, and you guys go head up, and you're going to be taking care of this huge hotel, and you think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I'll use me as an example. I'm going up there with Katie and Sophia. We're heading, and I get up there, and you're just something in your mind. Everything goes south, and you turn into somebody that isn't good. But you don't want to be stuck at the other place either with Norman. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, definitely.
I agree with you though. In the fact of that Norman is definitely super scary.
Do you think though, Jack? I would snap right away as I leave the driveway. What? I would not. Maybe later.
Later.
Do you think though, would Jack have been as crazy if he didn't enter room 237?
Well, I think he was going like, I think when you like the storyline, the way it explains, and he's just said this week he's going to be in this Return to Derry show, so I'm curious to see how they use him in it. But he was losing it before they got there. So like he was drunk, he was a drunk already. It hit Danny. The relationship with Wendy wasn't really the best. And in his mind, this was going to be the savior to his family. When the reality is the truth be told is take away all the rooms and all the crazy stuff he saw. He just could have went insane and did all that stuff anyway. Where Norman was going crazy too in his own way because of his mother. And that's what's so crazy about both characters. But in The Shining, there is a lot more of a you see a lot more that doesn't really exist. It's more in his mind. So like when he's talking to the bartender isn't really in the room. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mental stuff that's going on that you just don't see. Where in this movie, in Psycho, I mean, Norman's pretty normal until you find out the twist as it's going. I mean, you don't really, do you know he's the mother, in the first 20, 30 minutes? Not really.
You have to hear the conversation too with him and the mom too from the house.
Yeah. So it's a different, but that in itself right there, that's creepy. That mother up in the room, especially in the sequels, very, very creepy. Very creepy.
I'm sorry, Sam. We spoiled the movie. That's 65 years old. With that, though, we're split on this. I'm going Norman. You're going Jack. The verdict is from ChatGPT, Jack Torrance is scarier. His intensity and familial betrayal make him a raw, unstoppable human monster. Norman is chilling and subtlety, but Jack's rage feels like true madness unleashed. The audience verdict is Jack usually wins for his sheer terror and iconic energy. Norman's praise is a blueprint for modern psycho killers, but Jack's explosive intensity and claustrophobic violence hit harder for most horror viewers. So I guess Jack takes out Norman there over my choice, but we're gonna have to go with Norman losing that one. So that is our 8 challenges that we went through. Let us know if you like us doing this. It's just something new that we decided to try out with the who's worse. And then we decided to do who's scarier. This is something you like new to the format. Let us know. Any feedback is specifically is really, really encouraged, and we are we'll take it seriously. I'm sorry I stumbled upon my words there. But with that, Tone, any final thoughts?
A great hodgepodge of scary characters. My question to you is, if they were all in a room, who is the scariest out of all 8?
If they're all in a room with me?
Yeah, like which one do you think is the most scary out of all 8 that we have talked about?
Probably Pazuzu.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Because would Freddy be in the room with me, or he'd be in my mind?
Well, he'd be in my mind, so I guess that even being said, and you just bringing up his name, that's who I'm going to go with.
Oh, Freddy.
I was actually going to go, for some reason, I was going to go with like the Thing, but Freddy actually scares me more than the Thing does.
So I wonder though, if like Freddy's like scaring the shit out of you in your mind, and like all the other monsters around you are probably like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Well, that's what's crazy. That's what they do a good effect to some of that in Black Phone too. Like when you're asleep, what you're sleeping and what you're seeing is a whole lot different than what somebody's seeing you as you're sleeping, seeing it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of scary too.
Yeah. So that is our 8 versus 8 challenge for this week. We still have the Sugar Baggy Soundtrack Pick of the Week, which we'll get to. But before that, we just got to do some house cleaning here. Tone, tell everybody what's going on at the Hookup on Music.
We will be back. Tomorrow is the plan. It's crazy because since I was been putting the show together for the last week and a half, some people have passed away that I really, really, really enjoy their music. Yesterday, Ace Frehley from Kiss passed away. He was one of my favorites and definitely huge in the Halloween costume department. Great guitar player, great all around. So this week also, D'Angelo passed away. He had some really good albums out in the 90s. Bass player John Lodge passed away from the Movie Blues. We'll be talking about that and a whole lot of other horror musical stuff.
I didn't hear about John Lodge passing away.
Yeah, he passed away this last week. So it's crazy that people keep passing away, as you stated earlier, like Diane Keaton. So we're going to check that out. Also, going to be really good coming back this week will be James Bond. We will be back this week talking some James Bond. So tune into that on Wednesday night. Might even have a second hookup on music on Wednesday night too. If I could get it all put together, something live. So check out that and keep posted. What do you got going on over there with the good old man Cotton?
So me and Cotton finally got our schedules together. We will be recording Sunday. We'll be doing the Toxic Avenger, old versus new. So that will release on Monday. So be lookout for that. The day 17 of 31 Days of Horror will come out tonight. I just have to finish post production. It's been a busy week, and look forward for those coming out. We are more than halfway through, so we still got some good ones in the can coming out. Look forward to those over at Sadistic
Today. Before we went to the movie, me and Katie watched Angel Heart again. I mean, I already watched it once, your Angel Heart video. Boy, is that movie kick-ass, and boy, do you make it even more kick-ass with your video. So thank you.
I love that movie.
It was great.
I love Mailman Jack's gif of just Lisa Bonet doing the look. That always cracked me up. But yeah, so we will be releasing those soon. If you can, leave a rating on your podcast listener or whatever you listen to on your podcast. The more reviews we get, the more exposure we get to other people who can find our show. Be sure to check out the Hookup on Music. Getting Drafty in here. Check him out as well. Brian should be coming back soon. Also, the Hookup on Music and the James Bond show is excellent with Adam.
Good job.
Also, our guy Cotton dropped a hilarious blog on Yelp. We left a review on Yelp. It's okay if you weren't kind. So he dropped a hilarious blog on role models. I was laughing while I was reading it because I can hear Cotton, and every time I read Cotton's material, like you say, you hear me talking. I hear Cotton talking.
Voice.
Yeah, him going off, and it just cracked me up. So check that out at sadisticpenguinstudios.com, our blog. Yeah, thank you guys for everything, for watching, listening, and texting and tweeting at us and all that stuff. We really, really appreciate it. The season's coming to the end for the at the show, and then we'll start our new one up next year for season 6. But we already got this. I think this is episode 27 in the can, right, Tony? 26 in the can?
So we're right around there. I don't got the exact number on my head, but we are grooving and we are rocking and rolling.
Yes, sir. But with that, everyone, let's go into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week. The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
Before I go into my Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week, I want to play this little clip. I played it last week. My friend, I want to thank you because I've been waiting now 2 weeks to tell you thank you, because you pointed something out to me that I never knew in my whole life. That Cheech and Chong did this song called Basketball Jones. And then as soon as I got off of here, I go, I got to check out the Space Jam version. And it's a comedy version. It's the same song, but it's Barry White and Chris Rock on the Space Jam freaking soundtrack. And I saw that movie at the movie theater, and I did not remember ever put 2 and 2 together. And I thank you for pointing that out to me. So thank you very much, Yump. That was a huge musical epiphany that if anyone was around me for like a day, I could have talked their ear off for letting me know. But my soundtrack pick tonight isn't much of a soundtrack. Oh, there it is. Oh, wrong one. It is the Halloween H2O film soundtrack. Now, there isn't much songs on here. There is Mr. Sandman, which let me just tell you, Mr. Sandman is a kick-ass track. Like, that song is an ultimate Halloween banger. The song I want to talk about tonight, there's really only one more rock song on this soundtrack, and it plays during the credits. Now, I watched this movie this week, and I started laughing because, first of all, we talked about, and I wanted to bring this up earlier to you because you were talking about Michael Myers and his mystique, and I used to like this movie. I don't like this movie so much anymore. What was even more funnier was Katie was just saying that Josh Hartnett, whoever was his hairstylist for this movie, was the worst one ever because it was like sticking up on the sides.
Yeah, I said he looked like an eggplant.
But Creed, okay, they got Creed doing a song that is a deep cut off their debut album called "What's This Life For," and I had to do a double check because I've never heard the credits of this movie, or if I have, I don't remember it. But this movie is so 90s that they should have got Creed to do the whole entire soundtrack. Just did a H2O and Creed, because Creed's also on like the Scream soundtrack doing "I'm 18," the Alice Cooper song. But really, I just want to bash this movie a little bit, talk about how Creed was ridiculous on the soundtrack. And really, Mr. Sandman, I mean, that's in the majority of all the Halloween movies. And really, that was great that whoever John Carpenter, I'm going to imagine, was the one who made the call to put that in the first one. Very iconic song.
Yeah. I think that, when does that play, Mr. Sandman? I think it plays like when they're going the beginning of the film or something like that.
Yeah, like it's always like, give me some pictures. But the one part in the song, which is always ridiculous, it's like, please turn on your magic beam or beans. I can't really tell what she's saying, but I'm gonna figure it out when I look up the lyrics one day.
I can look it up for you right now.
But it's a ridiculous time period for movies.
Yeah,
It's also a huge dot. What'd you say?
Beam.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring, because beans just wouldn't make sense. But it's a huge downgrade when you go. Resurrection's an awful movie too. This one's better than Resurrection, but when you're going from LL Cool J to Busta Rhymes in the acting department, that's not pretty good.
And Busta Rhymes beats the shit out of Michael Myers. At least in this one, like LL Cool J, like they pretend he dies.
Oh, I know. The best though was in the second one. Katie's like, he's in this. Rookie of the Year was in it. And in the beginning of this movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in the beginning of it, which I didn't realize he was in this movie.
Yeah, he's their friend, isn't he?
Yeah, or he gets killed in the beginning. Or, yeah, he's one of their friends. Yeah, I don't. To be fair, I fell asleep in the first 20 minutes when we started watching it the other day, so I did not finish and then we tried to watch Resurrection earlier, and just not good at all.
Oh my goodness, you try to watch Resurrection.
I just always try to give these bad movies, because they're not good bad. Like 4 is a good bad, like it's good, but it could be like a good bad. 5 is more like bad good. 6 is bad. And then this movie's like, it should be good. My problem, like I was trying to explain to Katie earlier, is I hate in the new ones that they just ignore that she was in these movies. Like they just like go from 1, they don't even count 2 in the new movies with David Gordon Green or whatever his name is. They just go from 1, and then these new movies, it's like, you can't do that. At least with Jason, there is a correlation to the story. Camp Crystal is a pretty
Camp Blood
simple, keep it all together. I will say though, before we head off here, that definitely saw some cool trailers. I'm sure you will too if you make it before, if you go see Black's Phone 2. A lot of cool horror movies coming out in the next 3 or 4 months. Really got me excited. Something's going on with the horror genre. I didn't think it was a great movie, but they showed a trailer for the second Five Nights at Freddy's. That looked better than the first one. They had this movie, dude, coming out. You got to check out the trailer. It's called Primate. This monkey goes crazy. It pretty much looks like the only good part in Nope, but stretched out into a whole flick. They also showed this movie with the sucky Freddy we were talking about earlier. What the hell is it?
Jackie Earle Haley?
Yeah. It's called The Host, the game show host. He plays some crazy game show. That looks amazing. A lot of good stuff in the horror department, dude. That I know that we should have some good horror coming up. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a couple of films. I saw Keeper is a film that I want to see. The new Return to Silent Hill, even though those movies are bad. I'm really looking forward to Badlands, Predator Badlands. That's a film that I'm looking for. And honestly, I'm looking forward to the new Anaconda.
Yeah, that should be good.
It looks hilarious.
Always good to see. And then they got another If you haven't watched the new one yet, that's on Netflix. The new 28 Days Later.
No,
the
I
new
have
one's
not.
coming out in January. That one looks pretty good. Definitely some good stuff coming out. So
Yeah, looking forward to it, my man. Looking forward to it.
definitely.
But that is our show. We got under the 2-hour limit, so I'm sorry, Cotton. We only got an hour and 45 minutes in. But we'll be back next week for something cool. And then we'll be taking the week of Halloween off because both of us have commitments that week. But thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?